Welcome to the Sales Lab.
Who are you and where did you come from and how did you get where you are today?
Well, I've been in the sales side of technical sales for over 28 years, so it's been a long road. I actually started my career more in a operations role than anything else. So I'm in Tampa. I'm an electrical engineer. I graduated from the University of South Florida with an electrical engineering degree, really focusing on RF. That was kind of my area. We had a family business that did a lot of RF solutions. It was a company owned by my uncle. So my thought always was, hey, I'm going to wind up there at some point. And so he did RF, and that's kind of where, I started my curriculum and studies. By the time I got done and, graduated, I took a lot of interest into power. And so my background after my formal education really was focused around power quality, and really kind of broadened from there, and really enjoy the power side of technical sales. So my career, like I said, started in operations at a family-owned business, which was part of what my uncle had. He had a machine shop, CNC lathes, milling, and then also RF solutions, two-channel combiners, telecommunication, military type stuff. So I ran a machine shop and really made the housing for his business, and that's really kind of how I got my feet wet into my professional career.
This content is brought to you by the TIE Sales Showdown. That's the Technical, Industrial, and Engineering Student Sales Showdown, hosted right here at Texas A&M University. We have over 200 engineering students taking sales classes every semester and a growing minor program in technical sales. These students are smart enough for STEM and savvy enough for sales, and the TIES Showdown allows them to demonstrate their selling skills in a role-play competition where industry partners, like you, serve as judges and provide them coaching feedback. If you're hiring for technical, industrial, or engineering sales roles anytime in the next couple of years, this is an event you can't miss. You can learn more at tx.ag/ties. That's tx.ag/TIES. Hope you can join us. How long before you found yourself in a sales role?
Yeah, so the sales part of it's kind of interesting. I decided working for family was great, but I needed to kind of broaden my experience, and so left the family business and took a substantially lower position than me running a operations into a sales application engineer. So there's a company local here in Tampa. They need an application engineer. A buddy of mine that I had graduated with engineering was at a job fair, and I bumped into him. He's like, hey, we got an opening for an application engineer. And I was like, wow, that sounds great. No stress, no employees to manage, no schedules to meet. I'll just do it easy, right? And so that's really kind of how I started my career, really as an application engineer, supporting technical questions on surge protection. And that was, interesting because you've got residential customers, you got commercial, you got industrial, surge protection, as you can imagine. Anywhere there's AC and copper, there's an opportunity for surge protection. So we had a broad market experience. And so I did technical support for a long time and really enjoyed it. That really led into an accidental sales call. So there was a company in Massachusetts that created switchgear. They were making it for the hospitals. And they had a big issue with our products not working in their system. And so they asked me, hey, Jason, we've got these problems. We want you to come out here. So I talked to my boss at the time and said, hey, look, these guys got a problem. They got to get the switchgear out. There's a hospital that's down. So literally I flew up that day, met them the very next morning and resolved their issue, and went out to lunch with them. It was a really great experience. Didn't think anything of it. I came back home, and literally the next day, the president of the company called my president and told him, hey, look, we want Jason to be our sales guy and tech support. So you can imagine there's some sales guy who's unhappy. And then, my president's calling me and saying, hey, what did you do? Why did you take this account from the sales guy? And I'm like, I didn't do anything. I just fixed the problem, had lunch, and came back. And so I inherited the third largest account in our company because of that at the time. And it was kind of one of those things. And I always said, look, I'm an engineer. I will never sell. I'm not a sales guy. And I envisioned it knocking on doors and, a lot of calls that, wasn't going to be fruitful. And it, from being an engineer, it felt like honestly a step down. And that was really my mindset when I started even considering sales. Like, that's not me. I studied engineering, and not that sales is a bad career, but it was just like, I'm an engineer. That's not what I do, kind of a mindset.
Yep. And so, did something change your mind then? Or are you just living in this terrible, torturous existence of,
So it's a great question. So about a month and a half later, I get an extra check, and had no idea. And they were like, hey, this is your commission check for your customer that you helped. And I'm like, a commission check, what's that? And that really was like, oh, well, I just finished college, just took a job that pays less, could use that for student loans. And I'm like, okay. So they were asking me for months, hey, do you want to do sales? Do you want to do a little more sales activity? And I just kept saying, no, I'll manage this one customer and that's it. And then I just kind of saw an opportunity to make more money. That's really why I got into it. And so I took over the Southeast. There was an opening for the Southeast, and I went from technical, supporting some operational stuff with quality, doing some work with manufacturing improvements, to completely switching into sales.